Paul here. Alec and I wanted to do another Christmas special for you, but we suffered a little hiccup in our schedule this year. But we didn't forget you this holiday. We're reposting our timeless Christmas episode from 2024. So go ahead and draw yourself a tulip glass of Sammy Claus beer or a Bell's Christmas ale, turn out the lights, and revel in some holiday vibes with Thomas Ligotti's The Frolic. As you may recall, we included a couple of other goodies in this bloated, glittery pod stocking. Give them a listen with fresh ears and enjoy the magic of the season. And so, until next time, this is Paul Lorello reminding you to be safe, drink responsibly, and above all, keep reading. We want you to get enough horror in you to weigh you down like a belly full of holiday ham. But, to paraphrase Dan Simmons, try to save some room for stories that hold out a little hope for humanity. It'll do you good. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And now, a holiday greeting from Alec Chambers.
Hey, happy holidays. To those of you who listen to the show, thank you. Paul, thank you. Me? All right, thank you. What?
Ain't he something? And now, a special encore presentation of the 2024 Short Horror Beercast Christmas Extravaganza featuring The Frolic by Thomas Ligotti. Enjoy.
Merry Christmas to everybody, and a Happy New Year to the world!
Chestnuts roasting on an open flame, and Jack Frost is nipping at your face.
Oh boy.
A merry beercast to one and all, and a merry beercast to you, sir.
Merry Beercast, buddy.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Alec.
This is our very special Christmas episode. I guess it's a very merry beercast Christmas.
Yes.
That's what we're going to call it.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's like the special episode of the sitcom. This is when Mrs. Brady lost her voice, and Cindy Brady went to Santa Claus and asked him to restore it for her. And I believe as the show went, the plot goes that Santa Claus said, "Santa isn't magic, you little shit. Get off my lap."
Go fuck yourself, Cindy.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself, Cindy was the name of the episode.
I thought
so. Funny
so.
that you should say that.
Sorry, that was really mean.
No,
that
it's
was
okay.
super mean.
We definitely are setting the tone for this very dark story. You know, traditionally, Christmas, going back to the Victorian era, it's all about telling ghost stories on Christmas. Well, this isn't a ghost story, but it's just a straight-up horror story. There are plenty of Christmas horror stories to choose from, but...
Whoa. At Christmas, it was ghost stories?
Yes.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. Charles Dickens wrote A Christmas Carol as a Christmas ghost story.
Oh, well, that tracks then.
Yeah.
I just thought he decided, I'm going to throw a wrench into all this shit and tell a ghost story for Christmas this year, and here we go.
He wrote The Pickwick Papers. That was his first real novel.
Mm-hmm.
He included several chapters around Christmas, and in there, somebody tells a Christmas story that's a ghost story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's actually goblins.
All right.
Goblins come in and steal the Scrooge-like character away from a cemetery and show him all Christmas scenes and stuff like that. It was like a prototype for the Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
It is traditional that you do tell ghost stories on Christmas.
Oh, okay.
There's a great one, by the way. Susan Hill wrote a book called The Woman in Black, and it was made into a fucking awful movie.
Is that the one
with Harry Potter?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
It's terrible, but the book is great.
Hmm.
So with every story that we cover here on the show, we pair it with a beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to know what you have in that Christmas tankard of yours, good sir.
It is full of Bell's Brewery's Christmas Ale.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's nice.
I almost bought that. And when I was shopping for the beer I have, I saw Bell's and I was like, do I not? Because it looked really good.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a Scotch ale.
Yeah.
and it's 7.5 ABV.
Nice.
And says here right on the bottle that it's rich and malty.
Nice. Yes.
With notes of caramel and a warm finish.
Which is exactly what you want on Christmas. You want that warm caramel feeling all over.
Right, and it goes on to say that it's certain to make any occasion festive or at least a bit more bearable.
I like that.
It's pretty good.
That's good.
So enjoy with the company of friends and family, which I am doing right now.
And thank you very much. That's awesome.
You betcha. What do you got?
Okay, I have, there's a brewery called Schloss Eggenberg. I believe it's a Swiss brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And they make a quaff called Sammy Klaus. And this beer has a long...
Wait, Sammy?
Sammy, as in S-A-M, as in Mary. Sammy Klaus. I think it's like the Swiss name for Santa Claus.
It sounds like it's pretty awesome, Sammy Claus.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. This beer has a long storied history for me personally, because it was in the mid to late 90s. I was working with a friend of mine, Dan. He said to me, "You like beer? Have you ever tried Sammy Claus?" I said, "No, I haven't." He says, "It is the strongest beer in the world." And it was at that time. It has since been usurped a number of times. I think Sam Adams made their triple bock stronger, and it's like a thing with craft brewers to try and outdo each other and say, "Oh no, we have the strongest beer." But these guys have been making Sammy Klaus consistently at 14% ABV.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so that's in my glass right now. Hence my insane singing at the beginning of the episode.
Dude, you're going to be just a puddle at the end of this. You're going to be a mess.
I'm already half there, actually.
That's a huge ABV.
I'm like the, what's his name, in Soft. My legs are starting to go first.
Yeah, right.
You know? Call back to episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Klaus, I fell in love with it. It's got this 14% ABV, and it's very sweet. You would think it'd be very dry. But
Yeah.
it's sweet. It's like dark toffee and burnt raisins, like all those nice Christmas pudding flavors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's almost like a dessert beer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drink this with a burger or anything like that, you know? This is a thing to be savored by the fire.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing.
It sounds like you got to pay attention to it.
Exactly. We opted for Christmas beers so that, you know, to celebrate this wonderful Beer Cast Christmas episode.
Absolutely.
So cheers to you and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Slàinte, buddy. There's your Scots Gaelic toast for my Scotch ale.
That's right. And one of our characters actually does a little Scottish accent later on at the peak of the story. We'll talk about that.
I got to interrupt, though. If you expect me to do some Scottish accent, mine is rubbish. I won't do it.
So is mine.
All my life, I've tried to do a good one, and it sucks.
No, me too.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I'm 99% Scottish by lineage, but
Okay.
holy crap, I can't do the accent for shit.
That's so funny.
It's really weird.
No, it is hard. It's a hard accent to do. So anyway, let's talk about Mr. Thomas Ligotti. He was born in 1953, which makes him 29 years old when he wrote this tale. As listeners would know, I obsess over things like that because at 29,
Yeah.
I wasn't producing anything nearly as good as this.
Well, in that one episode, you said so-and-so was already dead for 4 years when they were
right. It was
my
Mozart.
age.
Yeah, that was
It was Mozart, that's right.
Tom Lehrer talking
That's
about
fantastic.
Mozart. Yeah. By the time, when Mozart was my age, he'd been dead for 5 years.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So, what were you doing at 29? Were you on your way, or were you still finding it?
I had just wrapped up a rock and roll career as a drummer, thinking we were going to go through the ceiling, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't fan out like that, and I went and started working as a carpenter.
Oh, okay.
And it was, that's what I did for a little bit before I moved to Los Angeles. But around 29, I think I was working as a carpenter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was working in a bookstore.
Okay. Well, I imagine you'd love being in a bookstore.
I did love it, and I was trying to write at the time, and I was only a couple of years into really being serious about it. I wasn't at all serious until when I hit around 27. I had this moment of clarity where I was like, I should probably start doing something with this. So I'd only been at it for a couple of years, and had tried submitting a few times and getting amassing that big stack of rejection letters that they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. So Thomas Ligotti hails from the great state of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
He was born and raised in Detroit.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's primarily a short fiction writer, but he's written nonfiction as well. He wrote a book of essays called The Conspiracy Against the Human Race.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
This book outlines, the essays basically outline his pessimistic views toward humanity in general. He's kind of a sourpuss, right? He's,
Yeah.
I started reading it in preparation for this episode and just barely got past the intro because he's really dark and splendidly dark.
Yeah.
And writes just like an angel or like a demon, who knows? And it is what true horror is all about. It's just bleak, and his outlook, his worldview is pretty bleak. Just love the way he does it. He does it really well.
Yeah.
I think it was on the Wikipedia page. Somebody was contrasting him with Stephen King and saying Stephen King is a master, but when Stephen King isn't feeling it, he can fake it. And he knows all the technical tricks in order to fake it well. He says, with Thomas Ligotti, there's no faking it. And they said he writes like horror incarnate.
That's great.
It's like he just can't help it. And whatever he's writing, and it's true, this nonfiction that he's writing is just reading like a horror story.
Yeah, I read that same Wikipedia page, and it was great. His influences list was, half of them were mine as well, so it was pretty cool.
Sure.
I don't know much about Algernon Blackwood, but I love that name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
It's really good.
Yeah, all these guys, they're always on these lists.
Yeah.
So here's something interesting. Mm-hmm. Conspiracy Against the Human Race was the subject of a minor scandal in the entertainment industry. The season 1 of True Detective, they say that the writer of that show may have been plagiarizing from Thomas Ligotti. You watched that show, right?
Oh, yeah, I loved it. It was one of my favorites. And to hear this was a bummer, but I guess it depends on how it all fanned out. I mean, if they plagiarized it and stole direct lines from it, that's obviously crazy lame and should be called out.
Right.
But if he borrowed the ideas, that's, everyone borrows.
Yes.
And, that's not the end of the world.
Sure. The writer himself did confirm in an interview that he was influenced by Ligotti. So there's that. But who knows?
The writer of the show was Pizzolatto, if I'm saying it right. Pizzolatto.
Yeah. He pizzes a lot. Pisses all over.
He does.
Sorry.
Pisses all over everyone else's work.
Right. Exactly.
Calls it his.
So,
Hey-o.
Back to Thomas Ligotti. He wrote actually one of my favorite stories of all time, a story called Notes on the Writing of Horror. And it's so cool. It starts off as like a fake lesson on how to write in different styles of horror writing. The realistic, the gothic, and the experimental. He gives you examples of each. He takes like a kind of a crappy idea for a horror story, like a really cheesy idea for a horror story, and he renders it in different styles. And over the course of the piece, it slowly turns into a piece of metafiction. And that's all I'll say. It's hard to blurb this story without really going into detail, but he's pulling all sorts of literary tricks on you when you're reading it. It's wonderful. And at the end, you're sort of involved in the story. It's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it packs like a great punch at the end. Ligotti's won numerous awards for both his fiction and nonfiction, including a Bram Stoker Lifetime Achievement Award. Very, very impressive. Interesting fact also, it's very difficult, extremely difficult, to find audio or video interviews with this guy. I found one on YouTube, and him just giving a guest lecture somewhere. Yeah. He's just notorious for declining audio and video interviews. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's a little quirk of his. The Frolic was published in 1982 in the spring edition of Fantasy Tales magazine. It also appeared in a collection of Ligotti's fiction titled Songs of a Dead Dreamer. Great title.
That is great.
Yeah, and incidentally, it appears in another collection of his stories entitled, wait for it, Nursery Crimes.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Not spelled with a Y, but spelled with an I.
Right, I figured.
So let's jolly well get into it. This is The Frolic by Thomas Ligotti. Let's start with the opening line. There's some really cool stuff going on here.
In a beautiful home in a beautiful part of town, the town of Nogate, side of the state prison, Dr. Monk examined the evening newspaper while his young wife lounged on a sofa nearby, lazily flipping through the colorful parade of a fashion magazine.
So you wouldn't think that's the opening of a horror story, right? It's this nice little peaceful domestic scene. But the fact that he says side of the state prison, right in the middle of
I know,
that
got me.
It kind of like jars you a little bit. He just throws us like throwing a little pickle in your ice cream there. So you know something might be a little off here, right?
Yeah, it's already askew.
Yeah. We learned that this town of Knowlegate, fictional town, by the way, I looked it up, it doesn't exist. So we learned that this town is quiet and that there's not really much of a nightlife. Dr. Monk's wife, Leslie, has obviously placated her husband by moving here. And she's starting to get a bit fidgety now. She suspects that maybe her husband isn't really digging it here either. Even though he's dedicated to his work, he seems to have been showing signs of disenchantment lately. And we get the feeling soon that she's sort of hoping that he changes his mind and decides to move. She doesn't really like it here that much.
Right.
I love the way Ligotti portrays the husband and wife communicating throughout this story. It's a very naturalistic way of talking to each other. They kind of rib each other a little bit, but hold back with each other. It's a very realistic dance that they're doing with each other. By the way, Dr. Monk's name is David Monk. That's how we'll refer to him for the rest of the story. We find that David is home. He's flipping through the newspaper on the couch. She asks him, how's it going? He answers, yeah, it's going. You know, he gives her a sort of perfunctory answer. You know, she's sensing something's a little off. She offers to make them some drinks. And Ligotti says the sounds of drink making were the only intrusion upon the living room's plush quiet.
That's great.
Yeah. Anytime, we always say this, I'm going to say it again, anytime you can get all those senses in there, especially the sense of sound.
Plush quiet is perfect for like a quiet living room.
You totally picture it.
Yeah, that's great.
They are. Yeah, absolutely. And then we get this very lovely description of the house and the town just outside the house. Again, I'm going to keep saying this. We provide our little synopses here on the show, and it provides fodder for commentary, for better or for worse. But just the note to our listeners, you have to go and read these stories that we cover. I'd put the links up to them in the show notes. It doesn't matter if you know what happens or not. You know what steak tastes like. You still order a steak, you know, when you're hungry.
Good one, yeah.
And yes, there are good steaks and bad steaks. We offer only good steaks here, only the best.
We got the prime cuts right here.
Yes, exactly. It's always worth savoring these stories. So she manages to pull out of him that he's got some regrets about moving here to this town and taking this job as the prison psychologist. That's what he does for a living. And Ligotti says her husband's remark indicated an even more acute mood of demoralization than Leslie had hoped for. I wrote in my little notes here, I wrote amazing, because we've all been Leslie at some point in our lives. Okay, so what she's doing here is kind of hoping that he doesn't like it. She's not hoping that he becomes dehumanized by this thing. She's just hoping that he's disenchanted with it and he just enough to want to move, but not enough to not enough to scar him for life. Okay, so the way he answers her clues her in that, wow, he's even more far gone than I thought he was.
Right.
But, you know, it also hints at her where she is in her life. She just wants to move out of there, and it's almost at her husband's expense that she wants to move. He'll be demoralized just a little bit so we can move, you know.
Right.
It's pretty cool. But then, you know, she comes to feel that she really does want the best for David. I mean, she's not all bad. You know, she really wants the best for him, and she's sticking through this thing. And now David begins discussing what seems to be daily life at the prison, and it's just horrible. He's beyond wrecked by it. He's actually completely demoralized. He says, referring to his prisoners under his care, he says, they can all rot in that hellhole as far as I'm concerned. This made me think of the Stanford prison experiment. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of. This experiment, like, just, it doesn't matter who you are. You put in that environment, you're just going to be corrupted. Fodder for horror stories there, you know, the evil inside of a place just taking you over, you know.
Because it's what I do, there is a Looney Tunes episode just like this. Okay. Where there's
the one where Bugs Bunny's in charge of a prison and he's demoralizing the... Oh, no.
That would actually be a better episode, I think. But in this, there's a box truck that says Acme Hat Company or something. And the back blows open. Somehow it's loose and it opens up and all the hats go sailing out into the atmosphere.
That's right. And they...
Right?
Yeah.
So they're all flying around.
Yes.
So as Bugs Bunny and maybe Elmer Fudd are both walking around through the woods. These different hats keep falling on their heads.
Yeah, and they're assuming the personalities.
It's pretty great. It was pretty good. I haven't seen it forever, but it just made me think of that.
Yeah, you can draw some great metaphors from that. It's like it's the clothes make the man. As they say.
I don't know that that's what the truck was called, but I assume it's a safe bet that it was Acme Hat Company.
Most likely, it was an Acme Hat Company.
Let's go to work.
So now we get another piece of writing. Ligotti describes how this peaceful house was once a bulwark against the evil of the prison, but that evil has now begun to seep inside its walls. We're starting to get sort of a mini theme here of contamination. They thought they were safe there. Just the evil from that prison is seeping into their house and just making everybody feel gross. This made me think of Cool Hand Luke again, because we can contrast this. What makes this story horror is the fact that the human will can't escape the corruption of the outside of the prison. Whereas Cool Hand Luke, the whole point is that he is surviving and he is persevering throughout.
Absolutely.
Cool Hand Luke is implying that, yes, it is indeed possible to transcend. Ligotti's worldview begs to differ.
A little different,
yeah. So David says, by the way, do you know why I was late tonight? He says it was because he was chatting with that one prisoner that he told her about, the one with no name. Okay. I think I just blew into the mic. I can't whistle that well, but it just made me think of the Clint Eastwood theme. We'll insert it.
Which one? Which theme?
The Ennio Morricone.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
I can't do it either. My mouth's real dry.
The man with no name.
I need a drink. Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
Let's see if I can do it. Ouch. I think I split my lip. I think my lip cracked open. Fucking hate winter.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
How'd you hurt your lip? Whistling.
Trying to be funny. Didn't work.
So he says, this prisoner says he's got no less than 1,000 names, but they just call him John Doe. And you know what this reminded me of was The Exorcist. In the book and the movie, Regan, possessed by Pazuzu, says, I am no one. The thing about the 1,000 names reminds me of the biblical story of Christ casting the demons out of the man. And when he asks the man his name, it's a possessed man. And when he asks him his name, the guy answers that his name is Legion.
Yeah, it's the best. And let me clarify, when I say that's the best scary thing to fucking say.
It's cool. It's great.
I am Legion.
Yeah, it's just implying that all these things are controlling you all at the same time.
Oh my God. I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, The Exorcist 3 was based on a book called Legion. Okay, that was the original title.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about that one at some point. I won't do it today, but that's one of my favorites.
It's a great film.
Ooh.
That hospital scene. Right?
Yeah. That crate. Yeah. I think you're talking about the nurse with the doodad.
Yep.
Yeah, that was nuts.
If nothing else, that one scene is worth the entire film.
Yeah. That and what's his name? The actor, Brad Dourif.
Yes.
When he's ranting and raving and staring into the camera, you just want to curl up and cry in a blanket in the dark somewhere else. It's insane.
He is inside with us. He will never get away. His pain won't end.
Of course, George C. Scott is the man.
Of course.
And, our because it's a Christmas episode, shout out to George C. Scott for playing, like, the best Scrooge ever.
Absolutely. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
This Legion thing also reminds me of The Exorcism of Emily Rose. You ever see that?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It was a great film. And at the end, she says she has like 6 demons inside her. It's like Nero and Judas and all these things. Like all these people are, or no, not Nero. No, it's not Nero. It's like the one who controlled Nero, the one who controlled Judas. Like they're all in her.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. So, and one of those is Legion, actually, that she says.
There was a great scene in that where, what's his name? Tom, the guy in jail, I think he was a priest.
Yeah.
And he was in jail. And he knew that it was all very real.
Yeah.
He was in the prison cell, and he felt something outside the cell. Like the spirit was out there in the hallway.
Okay.
And he freaked out because all you see is a shoulder move into frame.
Yeah.
And he starts praying super hard, and it backs off and goes away.
Okay, I haven't watched
It's
it.
just a minor scene, really, but it's very powerful because it was coming for him. He prayed so hard it fucked off.
Yeah.
It was so good.
The worded "just for now" thing is wonderful in horror. Just was able to get rid of it just for now. It's a wonderful scene in Salem's Lot when Ben Mears has the crucifix made out of tongue depressors. And he's warding off Mrs. Glick.
Right.
And she disappears. She like goes poof and disappears. It's like, oh boy, this is just for now. This is, this thing isn't done yet. We just was able to pray hard enough and have enough faith right now. Let's talk about that for a little bit, because that just brings up, this is the Rolodex thing. It just brings up the idea, in the book, he's talking about how Ben Mears is kind of like an atheist. He's just, if not, he's just having a lot of trouble with faith, and he's like making up prayers. He doesn't remember the psalm. He's like, and in the movie they depicted too, David Soul is like saying grace, and he's like, like he doesn't know, he doesn't know like how to like pray, and as the as
Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub.
Right, and as the thing's coming back to life, he's like shaking and getting as much faith as he can possibly muster up, to ward this thing off, and it works. It's cool.
That is great. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, gracious me. Was I raving?
So anyway, back to the story. So David says this guy's from nowhere. He is from... he doesn't have a name. It's like he just dropped in from nowhere. His fingerprints aren't on record. Police picked him up outside an elementary school just as he was walking another victim to his stolen car. Isn't that lovely? They were vigilant because several kids had gone missing from that school.
That last paragraph is where it's at for me.
Yes.
That sets it right there.
Yes. Absolutely.
He dropped in from nowhere.
Yep.
No prints.
Yep. And,
it's like... Oh,
yeah, and preying on kids,
That's just bad, though.
Awful.
That's a lot.
The police were vigilant, and they nabbed him as he was, walking another victim to his car.
Mm-hmm.
David says, well, John Doe sees this differently, though. He says he wanted to be caught. As a matter of fact, he was fully expecting the police to show up and was waiting for them. What took you so long? Leslie asks him, why? Why do you think that is? And David says, well, because he's a psychopath. I mean, there's no other explanation. He says, John Doe is chaos itself, as you would do in that situation. She says, explain more. He says, all right.
I need more.
Yeah, and so he gives an example of a conversation that they had between him and John Doe. He asked John Doe, do you know why you're here in prison? And John Doe replied, for frolicking. So we learn that that's what he calls his crimes against children. He calls them frolicking.
So fucked.
Yeah. This story layers on these horrific details pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you get that one thing about, all right, he's walking the kids to his car, ugh, and then you find out he calls it frolicking, and you're like, oh, even worse.
So bad.
Yes. When David pressed him on it, what does that mean, frolicking? John Doe replied with, mean? You're a meanie, that's what you are. And David says that childish response sounded to him like he was mimicking his victims. And that's a big oy vey right there.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So again, that's another layer of this horror. It's like, it's just when you think it's like, you're just done digesting the last bit and he just throws that on you. So David says, it was foolish of me to continue this interview, but, he continued anyway. And he asked him, so do you know why you can't leave here? And John Doe's response was, I can leave here whenever I want, actually. I just don't want to go yet. And he says he wants to go and join the others, meaning the other prisoners. Mm-hmm. He says the atmosphere here invigorates him.
Gross.
Yeah, David's like, I can't believe he wants to go with the other prisoners, knowing full well that they don't look too favorably upon his type of crime.
Yeah.
Then David says that John Doe considers the prison stay a holiday from frolicking. He says frolicking can be exhausting. Okay, so, yeah, it is rough. So Leslie asks him, do you think he can really leave whenever he wants? And she's thinking about her child. After all, it was one of her biggest fears moving here to the heart of a prison town. They have this little girl, and she's sleeping upstairs.
Right.
Of course, David sees where she's going, and he says, no, you don't have anything to worry about. The last thing a prison escapee wants to do is hang around the area, right? They want to go as far away from there as possible. And Leslie is mulling on this when she notices that David seems like he's listening for something. She says, "What's up?" And he says, "Oh, nothing. I just thought I heard a sound, that's all." She says, "What kind of sound?" And he says, "A faraway noise." And Ligotti says, "He stood up and looked around, as if to see whether the sound had left some telltale clue in the surrounding stillness of the house. Perhaps a smeary sonic print somewhere."
Oh my God.
Yes.
That is great.
Isn't that awesome? A smeary sonic print.
Man.
He's already like ramping himself
He could
up.
have said a sonic print.
Yeah,
but
right.
he said a smeary sonic
A
print.
smeary sonic print. Isn't that wonderful?
So good.
At that point, David's already kind of just silently ramping up. He says, "You know what? I'm just going to go check on our daughter. I'll be right back." So the daughter's name is Norleen. He checks in on Norleen, and there she is, sound asleep with a stuffed Bambi in her arms. He says, maybe she might be getting a little old to be sleeping with a stuffed animal, but he's not about to take away her little security blanket, take away her comforts anytime soon. I mean, they just moved there, and it's a little tumultuous time in the family's life. So, he's going to let her have her little comforts, Then he goes over to the window and he lowers it a little bit. It's a warm spring night and the window's open. This is Chekhov's window, I wrote down. Do you know that?
Right.
You get that reference?
Yeah.
Okay. For those who don't know,
actually.
for those who don't know, this is a reference to Chekhov's gun, which is, in short, is the principle that Anton Chekhov coined. This principle that if a writer features a gun in a story, it should be fired at some point in the third act. Although, in his play, The Cherry Orchard, one of the characters purposely pulls out a gun, and it's almost like he's making fun of himself. Because it never gets fired. He never fires it at all. He just says, by the way, I always keep a revolver on me. See? He pulls it out and shows everybody and then puts it back in.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then it never gets fired. So he totally just flouted his own rule. It was great. So he comes back down. Okay, all is well. Leslie makes them 2 fresh drinks, and she uses this opportunity to ask him, "So, what else did John Doe tell you about himself?" And David says, "Well, he told me pretty much everything about himself. I asked him where he was from, and he said no place." When John Doe is talking to David, he mentions the word geography, and he says it like, "Geography, that's a funny word. I like all the languages you have."
Yeah, that's so telling. He's not from
here. David says that John Doe has a seemingly endless supply of voices, accents, and articulations, which is cool. That again speaks to that Legion thing. And it reminds me of Reagan in The Exorcist when she's imitating the mother and the director.
Yep.
You see what she did, your cunting daughter. So David takes this opportunity to rant a bit about the prison inmates, and it starts off with him saying, I don't really care about John Doe. I don't care where he's from or anything about him. He's a freaking monster, and he belongs in that prison. And come to think of it, that entire prison population should be plowed under for fertilizer. So he's pretty hardcore. She says, "Okay, would you like another drink?" He says, "Yeah," and maybe they can get a little frisky later. She's taken this as a sign that maybe he's finally vented sufficiently, and now he might be a little more primed for a conversation about moving away. Before she returns with the drinks, she remembers that she has a little gift for David. She grabs the box and she brings it to him with the drinks, and she says it's a little piece of artwork that she bought at the shop that sells stuff that the inmates make. It's a shop near the prison. They make jewelry and belt buckles and ashtrays and so forth. She says she thinks it's a nice idea to support the inmates that are actually doing something productive. And by the way, I kind of thought it was weird that she would think that this was a good gift idea.
Yeah, I know. I was like, why would you do this?
Yeah.
It's so weird. The place you're trying to get away from, you're buying gifts from.
She knows how her husband feels about it, and it's like, here's something to always remind you of this place.
Here's the most annoying thing I could hand you right now. Want it?
Right. Right. So he opens the gift and he recoils. Okay. He says, yeah, thanks for this, but can you do me a favor and get it the hell out of my face? Get rid of it forever. He says, I know which prisoner made this thing. And he was very proud of it. And what's more, he told me the source of his model. And David says, this little boy's face wasn't this peaceful when they found him lying in a field. Okay.
God damn.
Another little layer that Ligotti threw on this little horror lasagna here.
Horror lasagna. Okay, new
Yeah.
podcast title.
Yeah,
That's
there-
what we're calling it.
That's right.
Horror lasagna. Flying in.
We're gonna.
Oh my god, that was
Right.
good.
So, and then David says, yeah, by the way, this little piece of artwork here, the model that it's representing, David says, yeah, this was his most memorable frolic. And he presses him on details, and he says John Doe doesn't really give any explicit details. He just muses. He says almost nostalgically, with like a sense of wonder and awe. Yeah, and he says this. He says, despite the demented grandeur of his 1,000 names, he actually sees himself as only a minor figure in this world, a mediocre courtier in a broken-down kingdom of miracles and horrors.
Holy
Beautiful.
shit.
Beautiful. That's another cosmic horror thing there to say that you know, whatever you're experiencing right now, it's only the tip. This is just the most minuscule thing. However horrific this is for you, there is an entire cosmos out there full of this shit.
Yeah, I am having a hard time getting past that paragraph. It's so amazing.
Yes, it is indeed.
A broken down kingdom of miracles and horrors.
Yes.
That is great. Damn it, that's
Yeah.
good.
Roll that around your mouth. It's wonderful. He says John Doe's psychosis has created a kind of fairyland for him that exists only in his mind, but it's a place he retreats to nonetheless when he frolics. He talked about a place that sounded like a cosmos of crooked houses and littered alleys, a slum among the stars. Probably my favorite line in this whole story. A slum among the stars.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
God.
Definitely a little soupçon, if you will, of cosmic horror there.
I do like, actually, a cosmos of crooked houses and littered alleys.
Yes, that too. No, the whole thing is. The
Crooked
whole thing is
houses.
just
I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, I know. There's something about it that just
It just
invokes...
paints it.
Yeah, it paints this awful picture of something being really
terrible.
terribly wrong.
It's
Yeah,
beautifully done. It's
beautifully
crazy.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, David tells us that John Doe has taken the horrors of his own life, perhaps growing up in a ramshackle housing or in a childhood of neglect, and he's fused all that with his own perverse glee in committing these heinous acts. He calls his dreamland a phantasmagoric mingling of heaven and hell.
Ugh.
And this is where John Doe does his frolicking with what he calls his awestruck company. So he calls his victims his awestruck company. So just let's digest this a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
so he's created this little fantasy world in his mind, supposedly. And this is where he goes when he takes his victims and does his terrible things to them. And the psychologist is describing it as a phantasmagoric mingling of heaven and hell. And the victims John Doe sees as awestruck company during these terrible, horrible acts in this terrible, horrible place.
It's almost like they were destined to be there in his mind. This is just part of how this all works. This
Right.
is going to happen. They are part of the company.
Yeah, right.
It's weird. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, it is.
oh,
It is.
Demented people scare the shit out of me.
Yes. Yeah, really creepy. David throws in these little phrases that John Doe uses to describe this fantasy world. He mentions the jolly river of refuse, the jagged heaps in shadows, a moonlit corridor where mirrors scream and laugh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You're just thinking something just so wrong. That's where you just, the jolly river of refuse. Ugh,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, the jagged heaps and shadows made me think of when my dad used to take me downtown when I was a kid, early before sunrise, and you'd see all these factories that were backlit by mercury vapors and stuff with steam all behind them and stuff,
Sure,
and they just
sure.
looked like that. They were these weird heaps of black shadow
Yeah, right.
with little dots of lights all over them, and you're like, I don't like this. I don't want
Yeah.
to be down here. As a little kid, it was like really like, wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I was going to say the breeding ground for the smoke ghost, right?
Yes, exactly.
Call back to episode 2.
Yeah,
So,
we do love a callback.
Yes, we do. We're going to have a little sound effect for that, I think. During a horror podcast, just have a little, slide
Let's have a
whistle.
little,
Slide whistle.
That'd be awesome. Or a Scooby-Doo. Huh?
Crooked houses and littered alleys, a slum among the stars.
Oh, that's good.
Can we talk a little bit about wonderful the sound effects from our childhood? This guy's name was Treg Brown, I think his name was. He did all the sound effects for the movie The Great Race with Jack Lemmon and Peter Falk and Tony Curtis.
Right.
Yeah, and he did all these Looney Tunes sound effects. All that stuff. And then there's that one. I'll see if I can do it. I can't. It's always like when somebody like hits somebody's nose and it like vibrates or something like that. And I'm going to step away from the mic for a second. It goes like this. It goes. Here.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So back to our terrible, horrible, miserable horror story here. John Doe is talking about this fantasy world of his and it's the jagged heaps and shadows, all that crap. And he says, despite all this, the crimes themselves really are your basic banal evil. The run-of-the-mill assaults, not to downgrade them, but they're just your basic crimes against humanity. They're not anything that transcends consciousness or anything like that. But John Doe, of course, disagrees. He says he made it look dull for the ignorant masses. Frolicking, he says, is something else entirely. It's something elevated that ordinary people can't grasp. This reminds me of Hellraiser, right?
Yeah.
In hell, pain and pleasure go beyond human understanding.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Merry Christmas, by the way.
Well, that's of course what we're going to do is, hey, Merry Christmas. By the way, have you seen Hellraiser? That's how we roll. But
that's it.
Who wrote that again? Was that Clive Barker?
Clive Barker, yeah.
He fucking really tapped into a thing that bothers me.
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's growing up Catholic. I don't know.
It could very well be. Sure.
Because I'm, pretty agnostic at this point. But
yeah, sure.
Back then, this was like, no, you can't say that shit. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Pain and pleasure being the same. Fuck that. That shit's crazy.
Being the same, yeah, and then hell is just an amplification of that principle, and amplification and multiplication of it. It's in all runs in all dimensions and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, that movie really hollowed me out at the end of it. I just felt terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
You solved the box. We came. Now you must come with us. Taste our treasures.
So after all this, there's a pause in their conversation. David takes this opportunity to say, hey, guess what? I've decided to put in my resignation. Okay? You can picture his wife is probably like, fucking God, Jesus Christ.
Sweet.
Yeah. He says, tomorrow we're going to take Norleen to a place up north for a few days, then maybe we'll drop her off at your parents' house, while we get our shit together so we can move. And she says, all right, that's a little soon. And he hems and haws for a bit, but he says, all right, listen, I kind of lied when I said we're safe here. I mean, we are safe, okay? But this conversation with John Doe kind of freaked him out, he says, and it's because of something specific that John Doe said to him. He says John Doe lapsed into one of his accents. This one was Scottish, as we said before. Here's the Scottish accent. It was Scottish with a little German mixed in. I wrote the little note that from The Simpsons. No one who speaks German could be an evil man. Sideshow Bob.
It's so not crazy.
Right. It's not Die Bart Die, it's D Bart D. No one who speaks German could be an evil man.
That's so good. That's so good.
Anyway, so John Doe lapsed. During their conversation, John Doe lapsed into this weird Scottish-German hybrid accent. And he says, here's what he said verbatim. He said, you wouldn't be having a misbehaving laddie nor a little Colleen of your own, now would you, Professor Von Mook? And it's that phrase, nor a little Colleen.
Yeah.
Nor a little Colleen, Norleen.
Right.
Okay. And she's like, his wife is like, you didn't mention our daughter to him, did you? And he says, of course not. I'm not nuts. I'm not going to mention my daughter's name to this psycho.
Right.
He says, it could have been a coincidence. Maybe he heard something from one of the other staff members, But either way, it's a little messed up, and he's feeling pretty gross about it, and he's at his breaking point anyway. He's, let's just get the hell out of here. And he says, and there's no way I'm keeping my daughter here after that. Anyway, if it's as bad as I thought it was. He says, when I went up to check on her just now, I felt so vulnerable, and Norleen looked so fragile, sleeping there with her stuffed animal. He says, it's a new one. Did you buy that one for her when you were out shopping today for that horrible gift that you got me? And she says, the only thing I bought was that gift. I didn't buy her any stuffed animal. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot.
So she's like, what are you talking about? He says, the stuffed Bambi that she's sleeping with. And she's like, she doesn't have a stuffed Bambi. And she didn't have anything when I put her to bed before. David starts silently freaking out. It's really cool the way Ligotti ramps up the thoughts in his head at this point. I can't do it justice, again, without reading it verbatim, but just suffice it to say, he's got 1,000 thoughts in his head, and it's just getting worse and worse. And he's starting to feel like a draft. And like, is that in his head? No, his wife feels it too.
Yeah.
And so, kind of unconsciously, he just makes his way upstairs to Norleen's room. It's almost like you can picture him. It's like eyes just glaze over, and he's like, just gonna go check. He makes his way upstairs, calling Norleen's name. And as he gets to the door, he can feel the breeze blowing from inside there. And he turns on the light. Norleen is gone.
Oh.
That's not the worst of it. Bambi's still there, though. Bambi's on the bed.
Bambi wasn't part of the company.
No. Right. Bambi's on the bed, and all the stuffing is torn out of the belly.
Oh.
And it's all over. It's like all the guts are just all over the bed. All this Bambi's cotton guts or whatever it is all over the bed. And he notices that stuffed inside the doll is a crumpled piece of paper. And he realizes that it's a note written on prison letterhead. Again, layer upon layer here. It just keeps getting worse. Like, he just throws...
It's that definition of creeping horror.
Yes. It just... it's like, now it's on your foot. Now it's on your knee. Now this thing is just creeping up.
Yep.
Let's read this note verbatim, shall we? John Doe's note reads thus.
We leave this behind in your capable hands, for in the black foaming gutters and back alley of paradise, in the dank windowless gloom of some intergalactic cellar, in the hollow pearly whorls found in sewer-like seas, in starless cities of insanity, and in their slums, my awestruck little dear and I have gone frolicking.
Jesus. God damn it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, and then,
man,
Ligotti next, bats a fungo out of the park at the end with this last line. We close, I'm not going to read the line, but basically we close with a description of the house that is no longer quiet, because there is now screaming within its walls.
Unbelievable.
That's how this story ends.
It's unbelievable.
It's just like, here, let me just take all your hopes and dreams and just bat them way the hell out of the park, for you. Here you go.
And it's astounding that this is called Frolic.
Yes.
It's so great. It's so great.
Yeah.
God damn, that is just a real, you're just feeling, like you said, it's just, your back's getting colder and colder.
Yeah, right. There's a whole bucket of horror he just threw at your face,
Yeah. What did he say? In starless cities of insanity.
Yeah.
Just starless alone is rough, but add in insanity and it's all over. It's all over.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. That's mad. That is mad.
So, yeah, that was that. I mean, is your beer doing you well for this? Your Bell's, what was it, Bell's Christmas Ale?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it was good last night. It's good today.
Good.
Yeah, it is. It's what they say. It's got, I guess, I won't use the word notes. I hate that. I can't stand it. But it tastes like caramel.
Okay.
It is festive.
Okay.
And it is good to enjoy with friends and family, I think.
Wonderful.
It's just a really nice, chill ale.
perfect.
I mean, a Scotch ale, so it's dark and heavy, but it's chill. It's really good. It's
Good,
really,
good,
really
good.
nice.
It gets you right into the Christmas spirit along with this story.
Yeah. How about your high octane nightmare juice?
Yeah. Santa Claus is a gift giver. I can attest to that. It's a gift that keeps on giving, actually. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I've been nursing it this whole time, too. It's the same glass. I've been nursing it. It's a Christmas beer with balls, you know?
Yeah.
It's Christmas beer. It's not for Christmas pussies, if I may.
You may. It's fine.
As I drink it out of a tulip glass with my pinky extended.
Drink it however you want, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Did you ever get any gifts, by the way, that were just terrible on Christmas, like the way Leslie gave her husband a terrible gift?
No, nothing on that level. Of course not. I never got anything that drastically like, what the fuck? You know,
that was an insult.
I mean, you get like a white elephant. Mm-hmm. That's like, what? You know, but nothing that I can place that I ever went, what the fuck is this? You know, I've never done that. It's always been pretty much, wow, thank you.
So I have a twin sister. Okay. Mm-hmm. You may have known that, and other some people who are listening may know that also. But so we're close, and we share a lot of the same interests. Mm-hmm. So I can't even remember how this started. It may have started because we were talking about the movie All the President's Men. We like that movie, and we were talking about that. And then it just so happens I got the book that it was based on, All the President's Men, and I lent it to her, and we were discussing it. Sometime after that, I found in the bargain section of the bookstore, it was called Nixon, An Oral History of Watergate. And it was all the key figures of Watergate giving their take on the story. It's a very cool book. If you want to know like what all these key players were going through at the time, it's just interviews with all of them. Very cool.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh, these will love this. This is great. You know, and it was like in August, and I bought it. And I said, I'll just throw it in the closet, and that's it. She's done for Christmas. So Christmas Eve comes around, and I'm digging out all the presents. I'm all holly and jolly. I'm digging out all the presents, and I take out the book. And I said, what the hell was I thinking? This is the worst gift ever. It's Nixon's ugly face on the cover. Merry Christmas. So I said, I'll just wrap it up. I'll give it to her. Yeah, and I'll say, at least I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I owe you a good present. It's late on Christmas Eve. I'm wrapping this stuff. So she opens it up the next morning, and she looks at it, and she goes, Nixon. Like she couldn't even fake being touched by it. Like, oh, this is cool. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Nixon.
Oh, wow. Nixon. Oh, that's what I need. She just went Nixon. Like as if, I gave her a tarantula.
It was the nice way of, what the fuck?
Right, exactly. And of course, like before she even got the last N out of her mouth, we were both cracking up because it was like, yeah, I succeeded in giving her the worst gift ever. It was great. It was like, it was actually a triumph. Mm-hmm. So, we took turns for a while giving each other that gift for Christmas.
Yeah, now it's legend. It was the perfect gift.
Yes, it was. And, we would give each other Nixon-themed gifts. I made her little ornaments out of all the president's men's faces, like H.R. Haldeman's head cut out and mounted on an ornament hang on a tree. Stuff like that. And so some years later, I found it in a bookstore in Vermont. I found this tiny little book. It was like a blue book, and I paid like $1 for it. It was this ratty, nasty thing. It was like a book of like the wisdom of Sun Young Moon. And I wrapped that up and gave it to her. And it was like, and that didn't go over as well as the Nixon thing because it was
you're going to get the handle of, oh great, what did Paul get me?
But that I learned my lesson with that one because it was like that just didn't have because that was just confounding. It was like, what is it? Would you wrap up your garbage and give it to me? What the hell is this? And I said, I'm sorry. It's just like the worst gift ever. I thought maybe I could top the Nixon thing, but it didn't work. But
that's a tough one to top.
It
it's
is.
Like, wait a minute, what the fuck? That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I don't really have a story like that for Christmas that I can think of.
Can I tell you another Christmas story?
You can tell me all your Christmas stories.
Okay,
That's fine.
This is the only other one I have.
Okay.
The rest are, mundane. They have the highlights.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
Hold your thought on your Christmas story.
Okay, you got it.
I want to tell you a story that has nothing at all to do with Christmas.
Okay. Okay.
But it's fucking funny, and I've been saving it, hoping it would be able to pop up somewhere. And I can't think of a place to insert it except for right now on our big Extravaganza Christmas show.
Yes, yeah, go for it.
Right,
Let's
okay.
hear it.
But it does have a a creeping horror aspect to it.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. So you remember, you might remember last time I was talking about my friend Lee,
Yes.
who said we were hearing the night hag.
Yes, right.
Okay. Well, he and I and our wives were up north at our place up north, and everyone had faded. They were sleepy, and Lee and I had a few beers, and we were watching TV, and everybody was asleep. He goes, I'm not really tired, but I don't feel like sitting around in here. What do you want to do? I said, well, we can get in the truck and see if we can see deer running around or whatever. You know, it's like there's nothing to do there.
Right.
You know, we could just see how many deer are around, you know, whatever. Just look at wildlife. No big deal. Stuff comes out at night up there. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So we drove around, saw a few deer, whatever. We ended up at one of the inland lakes on the island. They're pretty big.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we parked there. Nothing's really happening. We're sitting there looking, and we're sitting in the truck with the headlights shooting across the lake to the trees on the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe there's deer over there. Don't see any. But we see two little points of light across the lake on the ground, right? And he goes, what is that? And I said, what? He goes, straight across. Look at on the land, across the lake, under those trees. What is that? And I look and I see him. And I'm like, might be like a reflector for someone's property marker or something. But they started moving. And I was like, oh, it's probably like a raccoon or something over there. You know, it's something looking at us across the lake, and the headlights are hitting it. And all of a sudden, they start creeping toward the water in our direction.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't think it's probably not a raccoon. I don't know what he's doing. He's heading for the water.
Yeah.
You know. And so the thing creeps toward the water, gets in the water. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Right, yeah.
He's like, what the hell is that? And we're staring at it, and here it comes. These 2 points of light heading for us in like a really weird, like diagonal pattern, like serpentine pattern, back and forth across the water, like very slowly. And we're like, what the fuck is that? And we're watching and we're watching. This goes on for too long, and we're going over everything we can fathom. What the I guess it could be a water snake.
Right, yeah.
But it wouldn't shine like that. There's no way.
This was one of those, Jupiter water snakes. One of those water snakes from Neptune. Yes.
Yeah, and so we're staring at it for a while, and finally I'm like, seriously, what the fuck is that thing? And it's coming closer. It's halfway across the lake, coming right at us. I'm like, whatever it is, it wants to be here. It's coming toward us. Lee's like, at one point, Lee goes, I can't move. I wanted to laugh, but I was like, this is really fucked up. What is that thing? What is that? So it gets closer and closer, and I'm like, I gotta know. And I get out of the truck, and I walk up to the shore, or close to the shore.
Yeah.
It comes closer and closer and ends up right in front of the shoreline and climbs out of the water.
Jesus Christ.
And I go, I hear Lee in the truck. He goes, what is it? I go, it's a fucking moth. And he's like, what? And the thing climbs out, and it was a gigantic fucking big hairy moth.
Wow.
That saw our headlights and climbed in the water and swam across the water toward the light like they do. They just cannot help. They're like, oh my God, the light,
It's like Mothman.
And he came right up and walked out of the water and was like, the light. And we're like, oh my God, it's a fucking moth. It was crazy. It was the biggest moth. I mean, we didn't have any camera, nothing. This was like, I don't know how many years ago. But it was hilarious.
You just almost swear to each other never to tell that story to anybody.
Well, we debated on it. I'm like, it's a good story though, because I'll tell you what, if you were there, you'd be sitting in the truck going, what the fuck is that? You couldn't figure it out. You're like, what is that? So it was just the dumbest shit. He goes, I can't believe. And then he was all like, God damn it. I thought it was a real something, like a thing. I'm like, I know, I'm a little let down. This is a drag. But it was fucking just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. But what I'm getting at is that was like the creeping horror when you don't know.
Sure.
It was a moth. It's like, oh boy.
That's pretty amazing.
Anyway, so
I love it.
I just want to insert that stupid story in for the end of the year.
No, I love it.
So I can get it out of my head.
Great. No, that's great. I love it. Well,
it's been banging around in my head forever.
That's great. Well, here's
the best was Lee going, I can't move.
I can't move. That's amazing.
I die every time I think of it. It's so good.
It's funny because you always say, like in horror movies, when you're watching the character, it's like, get out of there, you know, and like, why don't they get out? People would never be like that in real life. Well, it turns out they would be.
Right. I mean, it's absurd to think, how did you not know that? Because it's fucking, like I've mentioned before, it's fucking dark up there.
Oh, sure.
And that thing had the biggest, weirdest moth eyeballs that reflected like they were flashlights.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So it's like, what? What the fuck is going on? Anyway, that was it.
That's great. No, I like that a lot. That's a great story. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, hit me with your story.
All right. This was some time ago when I was in my 20s, and I had my first car, which was a 72 Skylark. It was a like a 350 V8 engine, and I was just a menace with this thing. And you know, I wasn't really into cars, but I just liked the idea of.
That's a cool car.
Yeah, it's a great car, and it was. But I just love the idea of speeding everywhere, and it didn't really have a muffler on it. And so I sounded like a Stuka dive bomber going through neighborhoods. It was just completely horrible, coming through the neighborhood. And so anyway, so I was on my way home from work on Christmas Eve, and I pull into a gas station. Now, I'm going to do this an old man thing, as if 72 Skylark wasn't old enough. I'm an old man here, and I'm going to say, back in my time, we used to have to pay gas station attendants to pump our gas for us, right? There was no self-serve anywhere. Around here, anyway, there was no self-serve. I remember. So you got to feel a little elevated,
sure.
Check under the hood, check my oil too, peasant. So it's Christmas Eve. I pull up to get some gas in my car, and the attendant comes over, and I roll down the window, and I said, "For my car, only leaded gas will do, son. Put leaded gas in. If you have any lead in there, melt it down and add that to it." So he's filling up my car, and up ahead I see a guy walking toward him. This was a creature indigenous to this area, known as the Long Island Italian ape man. And just to give you the visual, he's about 6 feet tall. He's got imaginary luggage in his hands when he walks.
Okay.
And 1 foot's going one way, 1 foot's going the other way. He's got no neck, and he calls everybody boss. Okay? Hey, boss. So he comes up to my guy and he says, "Hey, boss, you got a bathroom here?" And that's translation is, "Do you have a bathroom I can use?" And so, "Hey, boss, you got a bathroom here?" And my guy says, "It's out of order," just like that. And he says, "Come on, I gotta go. Come on, you got a bathroom here, right? It's out of order." He said, "You all say it's out of order." And the guy says, "It's out of order." Right? And he goes, "I'll piss on everything we got in there. I don't care. It's it doesn't bother me. I won't flush. I can't open it. Out of order." So the guy throws up his arms. He walks away. This, And so he walks away, and my guy's like mumbling to himself, "This guy." And then all of a sudden I hear, "Hey!" And I look up ahead, and that guy is now behind a dumpster. And he's facing us. It's like a squat dumpster, so you can only see the upper half of him. And you know what he's doing back there because he's gesturing with his one hand, with his free hand. And so the guy, he's going, "What? What is it? What?" And my guy's like, "You can't piss back there, you motherfucker." He's like, "I can piss back there. You can. I had to go. I can't reverse it now." And so,
Jesus.
So, motherfucker, my guy's like, "Oh, fuck this guy." He turns around and he's like all steaming, and we're done, and I have to pay him. And so I give him money. I needed change, whatever it was, $5 to fill up the tank back then. I don't know. But, it was, I give him my money. I needed change. And he pulls out that pimp wad of cash that gas station attendants used to carry in their pockets, and he's fumbling for my cash. And now that guy is walking toward us. And I was like, "Oh, God. Hurry up. I don't want to spend Christmas Eve in the police station telling my account of this story. I just want to get out of here." So he goes, so the guy comes up and he goes, "Hey, buddy, listen, I'm sorry. It's Christmas Eve. We shouldn't be arguing like this. I'm sorry about that. And he holds out his hand and he goes, Merry Christmas to you. And the guy shakes his hand and he goes, Merry Christmas to you too. And I'm watching this and my heart is swelling a little bit. And I'm like, oh, but wait, he just shook the hand.
Oh.
That's the hand
That's the hand, yeah.
Yeah, he's using that to guide the missiles. And I was like, I don't know how to feel right now. And so I...
Oh, gross.
So I drive off thinking, I think I just witnessed a Rockwell painting. Like, this could have been the cover of a 1942 Saturday Evening Post, Christmas edition. It would be... I was thinking it would be called After the Leak, or after the squirt. And the two guys shaking hands, one of them has a stain on his pants, and maybe you see the dumpsters, something seeping out from the back of it.
Oh my God. That's just gross.
But it, for all of humanity's flaws, every once in a while something just lifts us up out of the muck. And that was it. On that Christmas Eve, it was a little miracle. So between two men.
Oh my God.
And the poor sap caught in the middle of it.
It could have ended a lot worse than that, I'll admit.
Absolutely, but it was Christmas.
It had a little bit of a Christmas miracle in it.
Absolutely. So
it's great, dude. It's awesome.
So that's my Christmas story.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really love it.
That's as jolly as I get. I'm sorry.
You're like, you want me to be jolly? You're asking a lot.
You're going to get a lot of piss in this story. I'm sorry.
That was very good.
Yes. So you want Christmas cheer? Go somewhere else other than the beer cast, because on the beer cast you're going to get Thomas Ligotti and urine.
Yeah, exactly right.
If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
But I had fun. This was a great Christmas episode, and I think this is pretty much our wrap for the season.
Yeah.
Murderer's Row here when we come back. Our audience is not going to know what hit them.
Yeah, we're going to patch a few leaks and right this ship.
Yep, and you're going to see us everywhere.
Yeah, but not more than you want, just the right amount.
Absolutely.
I do wish you and yours the happiest holiday season.
And you as well, my friend.
And I hope you dive into some great horror or whatever other books you feel like diving into, but enjoy the season.
I hope you witness coming together of souls after a good voiding of the bladder.
Yes.
Well, cheers to you.
Cheers, buddy. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And now, if you've got a glass handy, even if it's only a glass of milk before going to bed, perhaps you'd like to join me in another toast to a spirit of Christmas amongst us all, not just on Christmas Day, but every day. So, a Merry Christmas and a happy and a prosperous New Year.
Humbug! Ah!
Good night.